Yeah, they're all good.
Hello, welcome everybody. Hello, hi. Let me make sure that you can actually hear me. Yes, okay, good. Yes,
Oh my god.
hi, good. Okay. What's everybody doing?
We're saying hi already?
We're on. We're live. We're on the show. Hello.
Oh my god.
Wow, it's a
Welcome.
party.
Yeah, it is. Welcome
There's
everyone.
3 of us.
That's true. There's three.
There's 3 of us. There's 3 of there's him and
I don't
her
know what I'm doing.
and me.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Gamesline Podcast. It's me, John, hosting. Hello, once again. I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of a slow week, news-wise, for gaming.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Yes,
It's
hi.
okay. Next week Square Enix is gonna go under because they invested 90% of all their money into AI or something. This is the calm before the storm.
Of
Don't worry
course,
about it.
of course. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
The
Yes,
weekly AI news.
I don't want it to be like that, but it
It's
is.
gonna be like that.
Yeah.
It'll
Yes,
end
hi.
with the implosion eventually.
Yes, hi. It's me, John. I am the editor-in-chief of the website as well as the host of the podcast. And with me this week, you already heard a little bit from him. We got Nikolas. Nikolas, how you doing?
Yo, what's up? It's me. I'm Nikolas. I'm here this week.
How are you feeling about gaming right now, Nikolas?
Well, on the whole, like as an industry thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. It could be better. Could be
Okay.
better. But hey, be the change you wish to see in the world, and that's why I make games. You know,
Of course.
gotta be positive. Stay positive. As dark as it can get, it can always become bright one day.
Yeah, that's
Some other more eloquent way of saying that.
that's what you got to do, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. How long has it been this time? Usually it takes a little bit longer than that to get dire. I apologize.
Don't worry about it. It's all good, you know. I get it. I mean, I wouldn't say that you're being dire. That's you're just being, you're just talking about the situation and you're doing what you got to do. Um. Anyway,
We've got
Lorelai.
Lorelai here.
Yeah, Lorelai, you're here. Hello.
I'm here. I'm a little more positive, but that's just because I haven't been AAA gaming much. So
How you know?
yeah, I'm here to talk about video games with my besties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're on here
We're,
posting with our mouths.
we're your super besties better than the resties?
Exactly.
Whoa. I've always wanted to be someone's super bestie better than the resty.
Bestie. Um. But yeah, so gaming continues to occur no matter how much we fight against it. Um, I figured we'd just go through the news real quick because there's not a lot of it, and I think we could maybe just get through it and then hit up what we've been up to. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah,
That seems reasonable.
that
Uh,
sounds great.
Also, I'm scrolling through this, and pretty much all of it is sucks ass. So,
Yep.
Yep.
good. It's a good week, Let's see here. We'll start off with the shit stuff, to kind of get it out of the way here. First off, um, Ryuga Gotoku Studio continues to shoot themselves in the foot. They just announced that they are going to be delisting the old versions of Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 because they are doing their the director's cut version of 0 as well as whatever updated versions of Kiwami and Kiwami 2. They are
They're doing Kiwami and Kiwami 2 also?
apparently yes.
I I mean, as it is, please buy Yakuza 0 now before you get an inferior version. That's
Yeah,
the only one you
so
can get.
the thing is that like it wouldn't be a major thing. Like the Kiwami and Kiwami 2 stuff is like okay, whatever. Really. It like the fact is that they are going to be more expensive because they're going to be launching like at $50, but also Yakuza games always go crazy on sale. So, they'll be cheap again. You don't have to worry that much about Kiwami and Kiwami 2. I think the only things that they're adding are like, I think they did new dubs or something like that.
Oh, great.
Oh no, okay, all right. So I'm looking at this and it just says that they added more text support for different languages and some music to Kiwami 1, and then Kiwami 2 same thing, just some text updates. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2 are not really any major things. I think maybe like some graphical updates, it seems like. But yeah, 0 is the one that's the big issue because they added a dub, which
It's not good.
people don't really care for the dubs for the Yakuza games. There's also a co-op red light raid mode, which I haven't heard anyone talk about. It's like a multiplayer beat 'em up thing, which I don't know. Like that's not like a terrible idea, but I don't know. It seems like people bounced off of that. The big problem is that new dub. Well, okay, there's two big problems, I guess. First big problem is the dub adds like 40 gigs to the game.
Yeah.
Because they also had to redo all the lip flaps and stuff, so they're also just like, I guess, redoing, like they have all the video like on there twice basically now.
And from having gone through it, the new dub for this is like Matthew Mercer showing up to work and everyone else kind of phoning it in. It's real bad.
Oh boy.
It's
yeah,
real bad.
people talk a lot of trash about the guy who voices Kiryu, and I don't condone any kind of like.
I think he's good. I think the dub of 7 and 8 are and some of those are absolutely are fine.
Well, he wasn't Kiryu in 7. He was only started in 8.
Yeah, in 8. But
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 is the remastered one. From having watched friends play through it, it's just not well done. It feels like there was no voice director
Sure.
something, because it's bad.
Yeah.
But literally everyone's part outside of Matthew Mercer, who is actually good in it.
Yeah, like I don't condone any kind of harassment or anything, but I absolutely think that like that young Ye guy is like I think he's poorly cast as Kiryu. Like I don't think he sounds like a bad voice actor. I just don't think his voice matches like Kiryu at all, in my opinion. But whatever. The other problem is that they added a bunch of cutscenes because this is supposed to be a director's cut, so they added new scenes. And I don't know what these scenes specifically are because as soon as the director's cut came out, pretty much all the Yakuza fans that I knew just were all posting like, "Oh Jesus, why did they make these scenes? They're fucking horrible. They ruined the entire story."
They absolve all of the villains. It's so bad.
Yeah, that's just bizarre. I don't get it. That's weird.
It's like legitimate dog shit. Like.
So yes, I would say because hey, Yakuza 0 is a great game. It's a fantastic game. So I absolutely think that folks should check it out and play it. But grab it before the director's cut comes out. From what I can gather, I think it will be available on GOG in perpetuity because GOG doesn't really do that sort of like delistings. They don't really allow that kind of stuff. So it's not like it's going to be gone forever, ever. And, there's going to be physical copies of the PS4 version and whatever else as well. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Be able to buy it on the main stores.
Yeah, it's like it's not going to be available on Steam. And if you buy the like the Switch 2 version is, I mean, the Switch 2, there was no regular version of 0 on Switch 2, I don't think. So,
no.
Whatever. It's a shame because like I said, that game's great, but yeah, I would say just hop on it or just go on GOG or whatever eventually. Yeah, RGG Studio is they're really doing a shit job lately.
Yeah.
So it's real frustrating, making me not look forward to 9.
Well, now it getting caught in the Atlas director's cut problem is really kind of frustrating. It makes me not want to buy their games.
It's a weird thing because with the Atlas stuff, I like that. I feel like that's like a separate thing because it does like Zero does feel like it's if it wasn't if it wasn't a theme with Sega games, nobody would be saying that. I don't think, like if it was just like, oh yeah, here's this like anniversary edition, whatever, who cares? But the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, we expect Sega games to have some sort of like director's final version of the game
with significant additions to it that aren't just patched into the original game.
But then again, like
another $70 game again.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think that this is that. Like they're adding a good amount of stuff, but none of that is like, oh hey, you're really missing out if you don't pick this up, if you don't upgrade. No, you're not. So it's a different thing, but it's the same flavor of thing. It's like they're in the same food group. I don't want to eat either of them. But yeah, I mean this, and also how they're handling the Kiwami 3 and everything with regards to that. It's very frustrating, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to Yakuza 9 right now. Or Like a Dragon 9, whatever you want to call it. Just it's very frustrating when like this is one of my favorite franchises, and now it's just kind of gone to shit all at once, like over the last year or so. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Like I mean I would say like it's been like kind of growing recently. Like I mean the Pirate Yakuza game, that should have been like a $20 DLC pack. It's a fun game for what it is, but like
I own it. I still haven't played it yet, but yeah.
It literally, like, the only part that matters is like 5 minutes at the end, and that was the same thing with the last little the Yakuza Gaiden spin-off stuff they've been doing.
Okay.
That and the last one, it's like there's no point to this game except for like the cutscene at the very end. Like
I'm gonna push back against that because the gameplay for Man Who Erased His Name was really good, so it was worth it.
I mean, so was Pirate Yakuza. That was like,
that's okay.
Finally, a good Black Flag again.
You know what? Then fine. Sometimes it's just okay that the game is fun to play. I'm not opposed to that.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I like those games, but like,
I don't know.
They charge too much for them.
Yeah, that's. Hey, I imported my copy of fucking Gaiden. I have a Chinese copy. I'm just sick in the head.
Because you're a real sicko that wants physical copies of everything.
Exactly. It's not good. It's not how you should.
No, it's good. I would rather have physical copies of everything.
You shouldn't live
in
like
a
me.
world of 2025. The sicko is the one who doesn't own the physical copies.
Damn. Makes you think.
You're a look into my twisted mind.
Look into my twisted mind as one of the few people who still owns Yakuza 0 in a way that you could play the original release.
I mean, I do have it digitally, but I should buy that physically. I have a few of them not physically. I should fix that. Anyway, next bit of news here. Speaking of games being hosted on platforms and Steam, etc. This is a sort I don't know, it's not really developing, it's just what's been going down. A game called Horses, all caps, HORSES, was recently announced to not be releasing on Steam due to their quote unquote content of the game. I will be honest, I don't really know too much about this game other than what is being listed out on their explanation here. But it does like really the story is how frustrating and hands off Valve is about Steam and how like that should not be the case because they announced this game back in 2023 and also talked to Valve about publishing it on there. And were turned down. And they were not given a specific reason. They were just said, no, we are not going to release this on there. And their like best guess about why was that there's a scene in the game where there is there is a they did not say anything specific, but there's a scene in the game where like characters visit a farm, and all like like all the horses in the game are just people in like nude people in horse masks. And so there's a scene of like a little girl riding on the shoulders of a nude horse woman basically. And like it's just supposed to be like an off-putting like, oh man, we're like I don't like again, I don't know the full context of what's going on in this game, but they are very specifically trying to say like we're not like this was not supposed to be a sexual scene. This was just supposed to be an off-putting moment. And so Valve did not specifically say, "Hey, this is why we are not allowing you on." Instead, they just said, "No, you're not allowed." And then the team actually went and edited that scene and changed the little girl to an adult, and then said, "Can we do it now?" And then Valve just didn't respond. And so the thing that is like the thing that I do want to say is that like the fact that the team behind Horses kind of like sat on that until now is a little like, okay, like his it's one of those things where it's like I get why they did it, and it's also like I don't know, like you're in the right, but I'm also just like we could have tackled this a while ago and maybe gotten to like a conclusion maybe if you had made this public, because like they're doing it now because the game is about to come out and now it's good publicity to say Valve tried to silence us, because like GOG like went out and like said, oh hey, we're gonna release it, you can buy it off of us, and like Itch is gonna have it on there and all that, and it's like good for them, but like the Horses team is like straight up saying like, hey, if this game doesn't sell well, we're gonna have to shut down. And again, like I feel for them, but it's just one of those things where it's just like you're being a little slick about this. You're being a little slick about this, but also you're in the right, but you're being a little slick about this. So, like I'm not coming at them to be like fuck you. I'm just saying like I see what you're doing, like like that's how I'm kind of reacting. But I don't know anything else about this game per se. I mean, honestly, if this controversy didn't happen, this game probably would have came and went. Like I like this is giving the game a big bump. But it's just the industry is just it is a bizarre situation where like it does feel like this is the kind of stuff that has to happen to get attention these days, like people will back you if you're part of some kind of like if you're having to stand up to the big guy. And again, like I can't blame them for doing that, because again, yeah, they're in the right. Just like I don't know, I'm like I've just been thinking about it recently where like there's a lot of pushback when you say that like, oh, there's too many video games coming out. I do really think that is the case, like genuinely. Like I just think that like good things are getting buried just because of how much is just flowing forth. And like again, like I don't know anything about this game. They announced it 2 years ago. I've never heard of it until this controversy came up. It's just like, how is anyone supposed to keep up with this? It's just it's very frustrating. And that's not really their fault. And I'm maybe being unfair by talking about that in this aspect. Um, it's just something
I
that I
mean,
thought about.
there is a problem with like Steam's front page curation, and the curation of the front page of a lot of these stores should be curated.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
should have people that have jobs to go through and say, okay, these are the games we should highlight instead of like uh sexy balls 3D naked ladies. You know, like it's just like there's so much stuff that if I have my Steam page, I should be able to set it to what I want on my front page. Like I want indie games, I want mahjong, I want these are the things I like, these are what it should front for me, and you should have people putting together like stuff as well. Uh Instead, if I look at the new releases, sometimes even, you know, whatever new AAA game just came out is at the very bottom of the new release list, buried under like weird,
Yeah,
like,
I'm looking at it right now, and it's like, yeah, like Black Ops 7 just came out, and that's all the way at the bottom, which, like, you know, that game's getting a negative reaction. People don't really seem to like it very much. But like, it's under Fetish Locator, S&M Studio, and Storage Hunter Simulator, which is like very obviously AI generated art for that one. Yeah, like just a bunch of like, and again, like this isn't me saying like fuck porno per se, but it's just like
it's
low
saying
quality bullshit. Yeah.
the new and trending page should be, or the new page should be like curated a little bit
Yeah.
better. Like, I mean, some of these could be interesting. Like, sometimes you'll look at that and there will be something that looks interesting in there. I didn't even know Dirtbag Mahjong was a thing until I saw it on a new page, and I'm like,
Sure.
hell yeah. But,
But
like,
that's the kind of stuff that they should be highlighting, and they shouldn't
exactly.
just allow like asset flip like porno games that have no soul to them on the front page. Like, you know,
Oops, where's my bikini?
yeah, like, you know, like like if it's something that has effort put into it, like sure, but you know, I mean, and it should be if you have like a button checked to allow that, because I don't think that that
Yes.
should just be on by default. But it's a mess. It's just a complete and total mess. And yeah, it's just because as much as I do like Steam, I do like Valve, I do like a lot of the stuff that they do. Like the fact that they are so hands off. Like, you know, Rose always calls them libertarians because they are. Like how libertarian it is very frustrating because yeah, like this could be so much better.
It's the same with the Nintendo eShop. The Nintendo eShop is a
It's all
fucking
the shops
mess.
because they're all
Like,
copying Valve.
yeah, but those two are the Valve and the Nintendo eShop are miles away the worst. At least
The
in
eShop
other
is so
ones,
bad.
it's a little easier to find, but the Switch store is egregious,
Yeah.
constant asset flip games, constant that kind of stuff, and they don't have a new list. So you're just digging through everything, and like the week like Donkey Kong Bonanza came out, it was like the 30th game on the list if you searched by new. It's
Yeah.
like I shouldn't have to scroll down to find the new act, you
First
know.
party Nintendo game that is like it's supposed to be a
Exactly.
system seller. Yeah. That's it's bizarre. Yeah, yeah, basically it's just there needs to be more curation, there needs to be a more
Yeah.
hands-on approach, and you know, there's a point where people will argue that then there is bias, and that is a fair thing to bring up, but it's also
Yeah.
just like I think it would be better than just running wild. You know, if you just spam the shop, eventually something will click because you know, law of averages. If you sell, if you list 200 games, you know, someone will buy one of them.
Like I don't think you should remove any of those things from the store unless they're like total asset flip scam games, which but some of the like there are a lot of those porn games that people put a lot of effort into and
Or
a
just like
lot of
straight
work
offensive
for their
stuff, like obviously that too. But like again, that would come with curation, where it's just like
exactly.
okay, this like because there's a difference between like okay, this is a game that will talk about like deep dark subjects, and that's valid. And then there's like I think I said this to Rose or whatever, where it was just like, yeah, I don't think that we should have like a healthy like sex game or like even like a goofy one or whatever. Just like we shouldn't have something like I think that Flipwitch game, like that's the one that everyone brings up a lot. We shouldn't have something like that next to like sex with Hitler. Like like one of them is a video game that has merit
Actually,
to like
legitimately pretty good Metroidvania.
And then the other one is just we're gonna be offensive, and it's just like no, like fuck them. They shouldn't be on the store. So yeah, just bad.
They shouldn't be on the front page of the store.
I mean,
like,
I think they should just, but whatever. All right, our last bit of frustrating news here. We have our AI check-in. We have the latest in complaining about
Yippee.
the latest in complaining about generative AI.
I'm gonna fucking cry. What
are you ready to talk about generative AI and how fun it is? How much fun it is to have this bullshit shoved down our throats.
All the time. I love it. It's so great.
Like getting punched in the face over and over and over again. So they're releasing a sequel to Let It Die for some fucking reason. Now listen.
Yeah, I Let It Die fucking ruled. Like,
I didn't think
love that game.
I didn't hate Let It Die. I think it's the difficulty spikes way too much after the first chapter, like the first boss or whatever. It was a neat idea.
It was 100% pay to win. If you want to get to the end without spending money, it took me like a long fucking time.
It was a good idea though. Like straight up, I thought that game was a good idea. The problem is the sequel's coming out, and it is reported to have been built using, quote, a considerable amount of generative AI. We do not know in what regard specifically, but the Steam page, because Steam does... we just talked a bunch of shit about Steam. One of the good things that Steam has is they do force you to disclose if you use generative AI, such as they say the in-game voices, music, and graphics, which
imagine a game where taking a game where the director of it just asked his 100 favorite bands to go make a song named Let It Die, and they did, and you had the
that was the original one.
Yeah, the original one had some of the coolest fucking music.
Very memorable music, very memorable vibes and art and atmosphere. Like that game, the things that people remember about that game are visual and audio. And now the sequel is just, we don't care. Yeah. Why should we put effort into that? Because you're just gonna play it because remember Let It Die? You're gonna buy it, right? No.
And then I was like, it has like a fucking seasonal system that like wipes your progress with each season, and it's like, what the fuck is this game even? Like,
it's bad. It's because it's just some studio
like,
has the rights to it.
Had the really bad
Deathverse.
Yes, Deathverse was already bad, and now it's
Which, again, to get out in front of this, people have been very upset that everyone's not screaming this from the hilltops. That Grasshopper's not involved with this.
Yep.
Which, I mean, to be fair,
and Suda are nowhere nearby.
Yeah, they are not involved with it at all.
The original creators are not involved in it.
Yeah, this is just like it's basically the same situation as the Lollipop Chainsaw, where Grasshopper doesn't really have any access to the rights anymore. Someone else just went, we can do that, I guess, and then who cares now? Yeah, just who cares? Whatever. It's Sweep it away. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 2 bits of news here that aren't absolute dog shit. But they're just very speculative. The first one is the Game Awards are happening soon, and everyone is mad about that. Which, I think some of that anger is valid, but what always comes alongside the Game Awards are game announcements, because that's how the Game Awards goes. And so old Jeff, our buddy Keeley, posted on twitter.com a picture of like some carved stone, and then posted a picture of a location in, I think it's in like Nevada. Yeah, he posted the words regal, inspiring, thickness, and then he posted like a Google Maps screenshot from, yeah, I think it's like on, it's right by the Joshua tree out there. And so people went out there to look at it, and they found this big statue that glows red at night.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
so
very regal and girthy, or whatever he said.
yeah, I don't know. There's like a bear on it. Some people are saying that Jormungandr is on it, the world serpent. So it seems like the guesses are that it could be a new IP. It could be a new God of War. There's a bunch of people saying that it might be a Diablo expansion because of the red, I guess. They're like, red is devil Diablo. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's a very strange thing. There's some people that have been also just been like, well, it's in Nevada, New Vegas, even though none of that stuff looks like New Vegas stuff whatsoever. So I don't fucking know. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's I'm gonna lean more towards the Diablo stuff, because there's all these like enemies, like all these like skeletons and shit like crawling all over it. Like that doesn't really seem God of War-esque. Like, I don't know. Like maybe this is for multiple things. Maybe it's just like, oh yeah, no, this section's for Diablo, this section's for God of War. Like, I don't know. But I think all those like zombie looking bastards all over it, they seem more Diablo than God of War to me. But I don't know. It's a very weird thing that, yeah, it's a very weird tease. Cause yeah, people were just like showing up to this statue, just like looking at it and being like, "All right, thanks, Jeff. Cool statue, I guess." In the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Do either of you have any guesses? Nikolas, what's your guess?
I'm kind of inclined to agree that it's the brain worms, the Diablo you were talking about. Just looking at it, like I was looking at it, and I'm just like, this doesn't scream God of War like a bunch of people are saying. No.
I would also not be surprised though.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't be surprised, but I saw people like say it was things like a clear depiction of the world tree, and I'm like, I no,
no.
not a no.
What about you, Nikolas? What's your guess?
Honestly, like nothing. I don't keep up with any of the things that I could imagine this being. Like, just the complete mask off thing is I don't really care about the Game
I mean,
Awards
I don't care either.
announcement
I'm
style
just saying.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. This isn't something I really want to invest a thought into.
All right.
I don't know. When it happens and I haven't wasted the 4 hours of watching it, I'll look it up and
Yeah.
see
I'll
whatever
probably
they
watch it.
announced.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. That's the hard part about the Game Awards for me, is I don't like enjoy the Game Awards. The part of the Game Awards that I always enjoyed doing was like, even years after I was for years after my time at a like the Destructoid places, a lot of my old coworkers from there, we'd all get together once a year to watch and make fun of the Game Awards. That's like the memories I have from the Game Awards, is like sitting down and watching it with friends. Now that we don't do that anymore, I have zero urge to watch the Game Awards.
I don't even find it fun to do that sort of thing with friends. With every time I've tried, like, let's just make fun of it. It's just kind of unengaging because I'm always thinking, man, I wish I was watching a version of this kind of event that was good.
Yeah.
Man,
And I guess you could watch the
why do I have
GDC
to watch the
Awards.
Keeleys here?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
there are
I
other
don't think
reward
you'll
types.
ever get a version of this event that's good, because what it is now is just, it's what the E3 press conferences used to be,
Yeah,
just mashed together into one 4-hour block instead of spread out by an hour and a half or a
I
couple of
miss that.
days.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I miss that.
I kind of do too. Those were the fun ones to make fun of. You had,
Sometimes they were just good. Sometimes it was just like, that's fun. These are good games. I'm excited. I don't know.
yeah,
I think it's okay to be enthusiastic sometimes in the
yeah,
enthusiast press, okay?
yeah. No,
I think you should temper your expectations that you shouldn't kiss ass, but you should have some fun. Have a little fun here and there. It's okay.
Like, sometimes it's cool to look at a trailer and go, I can't wait to play that in 6 years when it comes out.
Speaking of which, our last bit of news here before we move on. Dead Rising. Y'all like Dead Rising? I love Dead Rising.
I love Dead Rising.
Nikolas, do you have an opinion on Dead Rising?
no.
You should get one because it's good.
I have opinions on very, very few games.
We gotta get you more games, Nikolas. You're on the video game website. What's going on? Let's
I
play
gotta get
some
myself
stuff.
more games.
Let's play something. You know what? Maybe you might be able to play this because there is a rumor from this website, MP First. I don't know if it's supposed to be multiplayer first. I don't know. Yeah. They should probably. This. Let me see if there's like a. Okay, they have an about page. It just says MP First. Okay. Whatever. They are reporting that there will be a new Dead Rising game, or that there is one in the works right now. It is in the codename Rec, like REC, like a recording with a camera, perhaps. And sounds like it is going to be a direct sequel to the original game, which is a little confusing since there has been like 3 other ones that were sort of chronological after the first game. But if you think about it, because they did that remake of the first one last year, right? Yeah, it was last year. Then it makes sense if they're just gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is a reboot. You know, they redid the first one, and now they're just gonna do a new sequel with Frank West and with the camera and everything, and the time limit, etc., etc. It seems like they just want to build on the original Dead Rising instead of like deviating so much like the other sequels did, which, as much like, I like Dead Rising 2. I do very much like Dead Rising 2, but I do think they got a little lost in the weeds by just trying like a bunch of random crap and it just didn't really coalesce. So I think that it does make sense to be like, yeah, we're just gonna stick with Frank and have it be a, it's taking pictures and doing this kind of stuff. And the claims here are that it is going to be set in Hollywood, and it is going to be about a new zombie outbreak that takes place on an enclosed movie studio lot, where the main villain will be a film director who forces Frank and other survivors into trials, all in the pursuit of filming his, quote, perfect movie.
Huh. I guess. I guess.
I mean, that sounds like a Dead Rising premise to me, like kind of like 2 a little bit. And yeah, it says that like, there's going to be survivors that you're going to be able to help out, and they will have the bosses, the quote unquote psychopaths that they had in the older games, that are going to be the bosses, etc. One of them is the director's right hand man that Frank saves early on in the game and is tasked with filming everything while having a bomb strapped to his body. Okay, so it says. Okay, so okay, the way that this is written. Okay, the way that this is written, I'm trying to figure out if they mean that like maybe you can rescue the bosses, or if that just means that, or maybe they just miswrote this and said, just one of the first people you rescue is the like director's right hand man. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would really like the concept of being able to rescue the bosses. That actually is that sounds really fun to be like, because yeah, like a lot like look, they're called psychopaths. They're not exactly good about like the mental health here. But if they genuinely are just like, hey, you know what? People are going through a lot of stress during a zombie outbreak. They might flip the fuck out. And it makes sense if you got to take them out for self-defense, but also maybe you could try to help to rescue them. That would be I'd be that makes sense to me. I'd want to try.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it like more difficult to take them out in a non-lethal way, and then bring them back to base, and it could be like some sort of bonus. They'll help you out in some way. Like that makes sense to me. Maybe you have to like knock them out, and then you have to like carry them all the way back to the base, and so you don't have any like weapons on you, so it's like more difficult because you got to like get through the zombies when you're carrying them or something. I could see that. That makes sense to me.
I kind of hate that all this news makes me want to do is go back and play Dead Rising 2. That game rules.
It's good. It's great. But yeah, it also says that like some of the old characters are gonna be coming back as well as specifically Isabella, which again is very interesting. That like they're actually bringing story in from the original because that was the thing is like Dead Rising 2, like obviously like they have the zombie outbreak and all that, and they talk about Frank and etc etc,
Yeah.
but like like it doesn't really feel as connected to the plot. But like here, it's like yeah, like it would make sense for Frank to like keep in touch with Isabella after the events of 1, because it's like, hey, yeah, he's a reporter. Like he would be talking to his source. Um. So yeah, they're saying that the camera will be coming back, the time limit will be back. Yeah, it says the mechanic would be as the director makes different threats to Frank and the survivors, such as blowing up the studio in case they don't follow his orders. So, yeah, no info about a release date, and again, this is just one site sort of reporting on it. It has been like echoed by some other sources. They haven't really been like specific in like saying, oh, we have heard this too, but it sounds like this is you know it, I don't know. I wouldn't say that this is a sure thing, but I would like a new Dead Rising, and yeah, if my little theory there that you could maybe save the bosses, that would be
Yeah.
I would like that a lot.
I mean, it could be a really interesting, a fun game.
Yeah.
And also earlier I meant to say Dead Island too, because
Oh.
it's another hey running around Hollywood killing zombies game that's
Sure.
incredibly fun.
But yeah, now we can talk about what we've been gaming on. You've been gaming. Nikolas, it's been a hot minute. Why don't you tell us what you've been gaming on? What kind of games?
Well, there's a certain game that came out a while ago that I was waiting for a price drop on because I wanted to play it. It was very cool from what I did play when it did the open network test, but unfortunately, I don't buy games for $70. I got Sonic Racing Crossworlds finally
Hmm.
because it was on sale for Black Friday
Okay.
on Steam, and that game, uh, it is about as exactly as fun as I remember it being. It is so 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 good. It feels weird to like go back after not having played it for so long and have the vague things I remember, like in terms of specifics, like, oh, you don't unlock the items or like gadgets for customization in this order. That's been kind of tripping me up because I feel like I got my build like 30 minutes when the network test happened, and now I've been playing for like hours and hours, and I still haven't gotten the stuff I needed for it. This feels weird, but I feel like was it talked about on the podcast like miles and miles back, like weeks ago, when I feel like I saw it in the conversation topics at one point because sometimes I just check that doc. So I feel like it was probably discussed a while back. I might be misremembering. And it's hard to like actually talk about as I assume the only person who's played it because it's a racing game and there's not like story to discuss or a bunch of specifics I can say because it's not like super technically in depth or like the design is super intricate. It's just, yeah, this is a fun game I've been playing. It is as fun as I remember it being, and I'm happy about that. I don't know, not a whole lot to say. Like, I'm not the best at talking about games independently
Stop it.
without a thesis for it. So that is about all I have to say on
I
Crossworlds.
mean, it's a fun game. What character were you using?
Metal Sonic, because he's my favorite Sonic character.
Good a reason as any.
Yeah.
There, yeah. What about the gameplay stands out to you? You know, like you're talking about, you know, that you enjoy how it plays. What makes it better than any other racing games that you have tried, or you know, on par? It's
What I found from the racing games that I've played is that I really, really like the ones that expect you to be like, okay, let's say I'm playing a racing game that has a track where there is a curve, there is a long straightaway, and there is another curve in the same direction after that. So it's
sure.
like, oh, you go left and then you drive forward for 3 seconds and then you go left again. I have found that I really, really like racing games that expect a skilled player to hold and build a drift around that entire curve. And I
Sure.
don't really like the ones that expect you to turn or drift at the first one, go forward, and then turn or drift at the second one. Because that's such a very specific case, but I feel like, oh, there is this expectation of technical skill in the mechanics. And drifting is generally the one that I see most often. It's what I've seen in Crossroads, and it's what I saw in Nitro Fueled, which I also really, really liked. I think that one is my preferred racing game, but both of them are my top two.
Okay.
But generally, I just like the technical aspect of actually getting to feel like I'm learning how I'm controlling the minutia of the car instead of like a Mario Kart where, okay, there is some like level of depth here, but it's mostly the gimmicks or using the items. That's not anywhere as much the focus in the other ones like Crossworlds or Nitro Fueled. That is part of it, but it's like the items or like whatever weird gimmicks they have going on is not going to be able to save you from it's like, oh, I'm not a technical master at Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, so I guess I'm going to get lapped 3 times. Like, I didn't even finish my first lap before everyone else who knows what they're doing finished all 3 on like hyperspace way, but that's okay because this is a car racer and it is very easy to learn the technical stuff of because ultimately there's only so many buttons. There's the accelerate, there's the brake, there's the drift, and there's the drift top that's also attached to that. And so I just have to learn the different things that come with the very simple control scheme. There's a lot of depth in technical racers, and I appreciate that a lot. And it also helps that once that technical stuff is learned and you are good at it, that is enough, at least in these kinds of games, to get you past that, like, sort of, oh, well, I guess I'm going to get owned by 3 red shells and then the blue flying orb thing that hits me in first place. It's always blue and it's always a flying thing and it's always an orb. I don't get why it's always those exact traits. Sometimes it's an orb turtle shell. Sometimes it's an orb ghost. Sometimes it's just an orb. It's always a blue orb. But it's like, it's so easy to feel like you're getting tangibly better in such a goofy and party-esque environment in a technical racer, and I think that's fun. It feels like a great dichotomy of, well, not dichotomy, but like a fusion of those two elements that I don't really think I've seen with other games that you can play as party games that also have some technical skill to it.
How do items filter into all of this? Because I think that's a big uh point of contention for games such as this. Like how it a lot of people think that it takes the skill out of it. How do you feel about that?
I mean, they're just. I feel like my big problem with Mario Kart, I've maybe World changed this, but my big problem with what I've played of Mario Karts is that alongside not having a ton of technical skill, like that's fine because like the fun is in the items, right? It's the goofy, more extreme party elements to it. But Mario Kart has never felt like it really wants to be that extreme with it because of how it like balances the item gain out. It always like exclusively gives super powerful stuff to people far, far in the back. And in first place, it's like, okay, we're gonna give you like literally just filler items that don't do anything. So it's like, okay, the better you are at this very technically shallow game, the less you're going to get to engage with the wackier fun mechanics. Like you are literally from the perspective of someone who wants to engage with the most fun and intended elements of Mario Kart, because the games are very technically shallow and they do put their fun and then like depth into the item mechanics. Because if that wasn't what they wanted you to see as the main appeal, there would be more technical depth in there. If you are skilled at the game on the base level, you are not allowed to engage with what the game is designed around being one of the main appeals of the game, because that would be bullshit and broken and not fun to deal with. I've heard World is like, well, okay, everyone gets crazier and crazier items, and there's also twice as many people, but then that also adds its own issue of like, I will constantly see clips people post online of there is a row of item boxes, everyone plays the game like normal, they get there, and then they spend like 15 minutes just circling around, all trying to sandbag and be the one who actually is like, I was counted as last when I picked up my item box, so I get lightning, and then we go play the game again for real. But I
Yeah.
think but with the technical skill that like Nitro Fueled or Crossworlds allow for, there's not like this obsession with items. They still matter. They matter a lot more Crossworlds than they do in Nitro Fueled. But it's like they don't feel obnoxious because you can always like showcase some level of skill that will triumph over like the impact of the item. And it's a lot easier to like use them to counteract each other. Like there's more defensive items, there's a lot more stuff that you can boost out of, there's a lot of like inter item interactions. It's not like, okay, you can use shells specifically to destroy bananas, or it's like, oh, there's just the mushroom, that's your designated boost out of the blue shell item. Like there are some in Mario Kart, but it feels more like these are specific interactions and not these are just what the tools do when put in the same room, I feel, if that makes sense. And I think that interconnectivity of items alongside the fact that there's like, oh, you can customize your car, or oh, there's a lot of technical drifting ability you have in this game, that makes what could feel oppressive in something like Mario Kart not really oppressive in something like Nitro Field or Crossworlds. They're like fun spice, but it doesn't feel like, oh, well, I got hit by that guy's monster truck. Guess I lose. Oopsie. Let's just hope I get lightning in time. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel as like, God damn it. It just feels like, oh man. Like in the fun way. Like I'm smiling when I get hit by a fucking rocket wisp. Whereas if I got like bashed in the skull with a blue shell in Mario Kart, it's like, oh, well, that's annoying. I guess I have to wait until I get my turn on the fun item rotation again. And
Sure.
again, also another part of it is that it's not as insanely split between the different sides of the like scale in Crossroads. There's a lot of pretty good items that you can get in first place, or not like amazing, but it doesn't feel like, okay, I'm in first. I can't engage with this game mechanic anymore.
Yeah.
Oops. I think Deluxe it is a really dumb decision, I feel, for Deluxe to have added, oh, you can just get coins as items. and they show up half the time when you're in first. I kind of get the appeal of making it so the person in first can have a dummy item, since they will always be able to get the like double item boxes, so they kind of have to balance that out. But it just feels like kind of a stupid band-aid fix on, we don't want the person in first constantly getting more like shielding items than the people behind them, because obviously when you're in first in Mario Kart, the only things you get are things that you're going to use to protect yourself
Right.
against other weapons. So it's an ugly scale that Mario Kart could change, but they don't have the depth in other areas to where I think changing it would be a super strong benefit. Because again, we saw what happens when there's more and more crazy items in World, and it's like, oh my god, there's so many people complaining about them. Again, I haven't played World, so I can't talk on how that game handles it, but
Right.
I can. It is like, that is about the natural expectation of what I think would happen if you boosted up the player count and made items more like varied, not varied, but like not as extreme on each side than in other Mario Karts.
Right. I'll follow up your conversation there with a racing game that I've been playing. I got my hands on that Kirby Air Riders game, cause I couldn't keep my grubby little hands off of that one. The new Masahiro Sakurai led game. How the fuck could John Machonsky say no to that? Now,
Yeah.
listen, I actually never played the original Air Rider. Little maybe surprising, but I have a copy of it. But the copy that I have is scratched and it doesn't start right. So yeah, I've never actually played it. But I was not fully aware of what I was going to get into. I had an idea. I had seen gameplay of it. I knew, the general gist of it. I knew what City Trial was and all that kind of stuff. But I did not really know the breadth of it. And playing Air Riders, really great experience. It is fantastic. And part of that, I will admit, may be my brain being Smash Brothers wired, because this game does feel very Smash Bros. Not in gameplay per se, but in structure. And not just because of Michiko Sakurai's UI. Bless her for that, of course. It's incredible UI, as usual from her. One of the greats in menuing. Like, genuinely, I'm not being facetious, just straight up. But it's just like something that I realized like last night while I was driving home from PC Gate playing. I was playing cards and then I was on the way home. And I was like, realized they, like they allow you to do like full races. You can go into the multiplayer and do whatever races. But when you're doing the single player mode, which is the road trip, where you're going from like challenge to challenge, they split it up in pretty much the exact same way that they split up Smash Bros stuff. Where it's like, okay, yeah, if you're gonna have a full-on Smash fight against somebody, you're gonna do like 3 stocks, you're gonna do multiple minutes, etc., etc. Smash Bros, it's like, okay, it's you have your lives, you're up against like someone, and it's like you knock them out once, you move on. And in Air Riders, they chop up the levels in such a way, like, you'll run into an enemy and it'll be like, you have this amount of time. They'll be like, you have 20 seconds. Stay in the lead, or make sure that you're in the lead at the end of 20 seconds. So they're basically just charting out like a section of the course for you to be on. They don't like, I mean, technically they give you the full course, but it's like you're not going to see the entire thing. Or it'll be like, oh hey, here's this like section that we cut out. That's as far as you go. Whoever's first place. where there's like checkpoint races where you hit a checkpoint and everyone below a certain level drops out. They have just, there are so many little tiny ways that they change it that makes it a slightly different experience, that makes it more engaging than just make sure you're in first place, which, like, that's basically what it is. But just the way that they very slightly tune it, it makes each experience that much more different, and I love that. And the fact that they have city trial, they have the regular race, the air rides, and they also have the top down mode, which plays very differently and is just as fun. Like, I was expecting that to be like a little rinky dink side thing that you would do. No, it's like a full experience. It's still fun. And again, being able to swap between all these different variety of, like, you could hop into like each of the, like, the stadium mode things that you get in City Trial, or just it's so neat. It's so neat. And then having all the characters too, and all the different vehicles, so you can, have different stats. There's so much to it. It is a great game. I am eating it up a whole lot. Like, it is still very simple. Like, there's like there's like, yeah, there's like three modes, kind of, two buttons, because your vehicle just goes. You don't like hold the button down to drive. It just goes. There's a button to basically brake, and when you brake, it charges up so you can shoot forward. And then there's a button for, like,
Your
I don't even,
special attack.
yeah,
kinda.
special attack stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Those are your buttons, and it works really well. So, like, like you talking about Mario Kart and all that, where it's like, oh yeah, if you get to the front, you're kind of just like dealing with like defensive stuff. And excuse me, something that Air Riders does that I really like is that there are enemies just like out on the track, and you get a speed boost by defeating them. So you grab copy abilities or do special moves and all that, and you're still running into those enemies and still getting a speed boost to get even further ahead. But then your enemies are gonna, the people behind you are gonna want to try to hit you, or they're gonna want to hit enemies that you didn't hit, so they can speed up and catch up to you. Like, it keeps it engaging. Like, there's just so much about this game that it's just engagement, and it feels so good to just keep going. Like, you're unlocking stuff constantly. Like, I don't know if you've played Smash Brothers, you'll remember there was that, like, the, like, challenge board that you would do to unlock different things. This one has that too, where you're just, it'll just be like, oh, you drove a certain number of miles, this pops. Or you're on this level and you've gotten hit by the tornado 3 times in a row, that pops. You get a little reward. And, like, most of them aren't really anything crazy. It's like, oh, you can change your title on your driver's license. And then some of them are the different characters, and then once you unlock a character, if you get the same character again, you just unlock a color for them, etc., etc. Buy a bunch of hats if you want. uh it's just a cute, fun experience. It's a great time. Like, like, it's obviously not as, like, super crazy extensive as a Smash Bros game is, but I think it's fantastic. I would absolutely recommend it.
No, I can't wait to finally actually sit down and play it this week. I've been watching friends of mine play a bunch. I just have been in the hey, it's the end of the year and there are other games I wanted to check out that I didn't play earlier this year and whatnot mode. It's been fun.
What have you been playing? What have you been playing?
So the thing I've been playing most recently is Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, because I am the farming game fanatic, and this one is really had me thinking a lot about the balance of like farm sims and like how a day works. Uh, I think the clock in this game is like way too long a day. Like, I have played the amount of time that normally in one of these games is like a year's worth of in-game, your in-game calendar. I just started the second month, and it's like this is excessive with it, and it is taking away from the experience because I think it's a fun game. The writing is charming. The characters are pretty good. I'm liking them all, which is very important in a game like this. Especially when the entire thing isn't like, hey, you're just building a farm. In this, you're like you're building towns. So you're throwing down shops that to have villagers run as you recruit villagers and whatnot. And there's a nice gameplay flow to it. But the days are just too goddamn long. Like an in-game day in a game like this should be like 24 minutes, something like that. 1 minute equal, or 1 second equals 1 minute is usually how they run. Uh, so yeah, a day lasts 24 minutes. And instead in this, you're running off of like days are lasting over sometimes over an hour, and it's like if I want that, like I want a game that's balanced like Coral Island was, where Coral Island has the perfect thing where, hey, if I want to do a lot in a game, there's an options slider that can extend the day to 40 minutes. If I don't want to do a lot and I just want to do my basic farming and move on to the next day, to get to an event that's coming up or something like that I want to do, I can cut the timer down to 5 or 10 minutes. Uh, it's got a nice little slider that I can mess with. 20 minutes is kind of perfect unless you're going into the mines to do combat and whatnot. But in this case, it's just like, yeah, every day taking a significant amount of time. And I guess they are running off of like, hey, if you're interacting with all the people in town, you have options of hanging out with them that take either 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or a full hour. And I guess they're expecting you to choose the full hour for every single one, because if you just choose like 10 or 30-minute ones for all of them, you can get all of your socialization and still have half a day left that still takes like 40 minutes. Uh it's it's very weird cuz I want to say it's like a good game. It's a promising follow-up to the mess that was Rune Factory 5 that had a new team, and they finally have their second game out, and I said that game showed promise and like had me interested in whatever was coming next. And it's like I still think this team needs like another game before they actually like fully lock in on what makes a good Rune Factory fully. Because it's very conflicting, where it's like I'm still gonna finish the story of it, but with the way the days take so fucking long, I doubt I'm going to play out like a full year.
Okay.
Because it hasn't even been a month, and I'm already like what feels like more than halfway or even 3/4 of the way through the story. Like it's you got to balance your games better.
Right.
Got to balance your clock in a farm sim.
All right. Well, yeah, it's just I mean, that seems all fair criticism. Um, is there any like big major thing that you would want to see in the next one that you think this other than the
Honestly, it's just fixing the clock because they
yeah.
actually finally nailed like the combat feels good. You have super attacks that are fun to activate and it's like the base of the game is like really good. Like building out a town feels good. It's fun to go, okay, I'm going to go build you know, this town's going to have an izakaya, this town's going to be running off a blacksmith shop, centered around blacksmithing. This town's going to be centered around something, whatever. And like that aspect of it is like better than I thought it would be. Having villagers do the farming for me if I don't want to, but
Yeah,
if I
fuck
want
them.
but if I want better stuff, I can activate I can go in and use my abilities to raise the level of crops or whatnot, but also I don't have to engage with it if I don't want to, which I actually like. Because in the games like this that have a big long story, like Harvestella and whatnot, it's like, okay, sometimes I just want to focus on the story for a couple of days. And it's really nice to not have to run and do a bunch of farming and then go do the story stuff. Uh, so there's definitely a lot of promise that has me interested in like I'm excited for what they're going to do next. I just still think they have a bit to go before they really nail down what I want from one of these.
All right. Nicholas, you want to hit us with something else?
What else do
What
I
else?
have?
That's some things. I mean, I could ask you if you
Uh,
want. You got Rayman 3 on here. Talk to us about Rayman. What's going on with Rayman? The third time.
oh, Rayman the third time.
The
Well,
third one.
actually, John, it's
I
not
heard
the third
everybody
time. Did you
loves.
ever hear about the Rayman educational game for PS1?
No,
You never heard about
I
that?
have not.
That game sucks.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
talk. Let's talk about Rayman Education for PC. Actually, for one quick second.
Okay.
Okay, so you know Rayman, right? You know Rayman One,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
game that everyone doesn't like because its levels are long and they are filled with Kaizo traps, and they
Sure.
were only ever play tested by the people developing them that knew where everything would be. Okay, now imagine that, right? But in the parts of the like every so often the level will stop and you'll have to go up or down an elevator and it'll ask you very important question, what's 12 plus 7?
I don't know.
Well, I'll give you the answer, it's 19.
What?
Oh, okay.
No.
So
Lies.
the, don't worry, because as long as you go through the door that has a PNG of text 19 and the Rayman font on it, it'll be fine. You'll get to keep playing the Rayman 1 level, which, maybe that's not what you'd rather be doing. But here's the thing, you gotta do that. You gotta pick the right door in a 2D Kaizo platformer. And unfortunately, Rayman 1 does not stop for anyone.
As he
So
shouldn't,
if you
but
mess up and you get thrown into the instant kill pit that you get thrown into if you don't figure out what 12 plus 7 is or what an adjective for long is, you have to replay the Rayman 1 level. So let's look at me, not me. I I'm not the poor little kid that was affected by Rayman 1. I didn't have a PS1 when I was a kid. But let's look at this poor hypothetical child that wants Rayman for their birthday on their cool new PS1 console.
of
And they
course.
get this, and they have to play Rayman 1 which is already a sad trick to pull on a little kid for reasons that many people know.
Yeah, it
And
is a
then
little
they have
mean.
to do, yeah, and then they have to do math in the middle of it. And if they mess it up because they're playing Rayman 1, they have to replay and still do math. It's just Rayman 1, but you're doing elementary school at the same time. That's
Ooh.
not going to want to make anyone want to learn anything. That's not nice. That's
Right.
not an okay thing to do to a child. It's not ethical to make someone learn about history while they have to play Little Timmy's Mario Maker Kaizo level with a bunch of naked pipes and Hammer Bros and question mark blocks. That's not okay. And they did that. Can you believe that?
I can
Can you
believe it
understand
because
that?
video games are the Wild West.
It's evil. It's tragic. They made this game and they sold it. They sold
Yeah.
it. You could buy this. This
Can
is
buy it.
evil.
But
It's
then
called
Rayman 3.
Rayman Brain Games. Don't
But, th-
buy it.
but then Rayman 3. What about that?
Rayman 3. Well, the good news is Rayman 3 has a lot less math in it.
It
There's a
still has some?
lot less maths and English with Rayman. It doesn't have a whole lot of that. There are numbers in it. I hate to tell you, there are numbers in your video game. Still, they're
Oh,
not addition, but there are numbers.
That's a
And
shame.
maybe some English. There are some maths and English with Rayman. Not as much as math and English with Rayman.
With Ray.
Anyways, long opening drawl aside, Rayman 3 is pretty good. It's pretty fun. I like the voice performances. What's his name? I need to look this up. Hang on.
I know the like frog guy is Glowbox, right? Or Glowblocks?
Um, yeah, he's done by John Leguizamo. I don't remember how to pronounce it exactly.
Like
This is
was
the
that
sloth
was
guy.
perfect.
like
He
Wazama?
is a
Like the
really, really good voice.
the actor?
Like a Luigi Mario, John Leguizamo.
Okay. I mean, sure. I'm a little
Yeah, the
surprised that
Clown
actor.
he's
from Spawn, John Leguizamo.
okay. The
Yeah.
pest, as it were.
The only video game he did that wasn't him doing Sid in licensed games.
That's also
He's
kind of.
he in particular is a really good performance.
I mean, I think John Leguizamo can be very good. Like I'm not saying like I'm just surprised that like I'm surprised that he's in that game, especially because that was like when he was more popular. Because that was when he was in like the past and like, all that stuff. Uh, but then like he's hasn't been in much else, and that's what really surprises me. Like I feel like he's the kind of guy who would be in a bunch of video games or none at all. And the fact that he's just like, yeah, of course he was Sid the Sloth, so he showed up for that, but then like he was in Rayman 3 and that's it. It's like, okay, weird. But sure.
Yeah, the Rayman 3 voice acting, the game in general has like this very sardonic sense of humor that I appreciate a lot. Well, I appreciate is a very large word to just say I think it's funny. I like that I like when platformers have characters cutting in while talking and making dumb jokes about what's going on. There are probably a lot of cases where this could be used against me, but I think Rayman 3, it's very dry and witty. Sometimes it kind of leans a bit too much into epic random humor,
Sure.
but it's is enjoyable. I don't know. I don't have a ton to say. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's funny. I'm impressed with how often like it can show off a scope of things it can do because this was back when video games didn't take a decade to make each. So it's like there's one level I really, really like, Land of the Living Dead, where it's just so many mechanical things and decisions that show up for 5 minutes that would take like a months to make now and would probably look like shit. But because this was a PS2 game and people like it didn't have to look hyper realistic and you could just get the impression of what was happening instead of it literally having to be that exact thing. You can get a level where it's like there is this giant tower in the past made with stars, and you have to climb this spectral tower to like change time or something like that. So you can press a switch in that tower that will open a bridge somewhere else in the not a bridge, a gate somewhere else in the level. But also, because this is Rayman, this is funny, you also have to shrink down and use one of your shoes as a bumper car to beat up your other shoe so you can get back to normal size. Not for any reason. We're just doing this because this was a fun gameplay mechanic we wanted to throw in this tower section and like maybe one other place later in the game if we feel like it. Oh, and when that's done, we're also going to throw you into a swimming section. This game does not have swimming controls normally. Normally, you just fall in water and you die. But
You can
because
swim
we
now.
could, let's just, yeah, because we could. We wanted to make it so you could swim underwater for this section. Why? Oh, well, Jerry on the design team made a really cool looking boss of a giant underwater scorpion, and we
As good a
can't
reason as any.
justify you fighting it. So, how about this? We're just gonna code in this long, arduous swimming like method that probably took us like a couple days to make. We're gonna pit you against this extremely intricate boss design in a really long fight, and then we're never gonna touch that ever again
I respect it.
because we have to move on to the mandated scary horror themed platformer level that
Respect it.
also has a bunch of insane scripted like style. It's such a stylish fast paced game that feels like a flex of just we can do whatever we want, so we're going to do whatever we want, and I like it. That is very fun, and the humor feels like the humor, character writing style, everything that's not the gameplay directly feels like it contributes to that. All right, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna do something, and then we're gonna move on. It's very willing to dispose with itself and like poke fun at itself and what it's doing. Because like, why not, right? As long as the game's fun, as long as the environments are stylized and look interesting and the gameplay is enjoyable. As long as it's good, it is kind of all right to poke fun at yourself. As long as it's like you're being earnest with the development and creation of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It maybe this is too heady of a way to describe it, but I've been watching that Sea of Stars video a couple times while working on stuff. So
Yes.
I don't know. I feel kind of like I have to justify why I think it's fun to have a game that's sarcastic and playful with itself and is just kind of doing whatever after having repeatedly listened to a video about a game that will have someone say, "Hey, why the long face? You look like your mentor just betrayed you or something."
You can have fun with things. It's okay.
Yep.
I
It's
know.
just you
Well,
actually have to
games
have
can have
fun.
fun.
Just actually have
Yeah.
to be fun.
Yeah.
Games can
That's
have fun with themselves,
yeah.
but there's a
It
difference
ha-
between
it
having fun with yourself and being scared of yourself.
Yeah.
yeah. Like there needs to be an earnestness to it that you're having fun with it, not that you're like trying to go wink wink nudge nudge, isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? Isn't this cool?
Uh, Lorelai, how about you? Because I only have two. So Lorelai, you go. You go ahead.
All right, I've been playing very recently. It just came out this week. Dirtbag Mahjong, which is a single player Ricci Mahjong story game about a bunch of trans people living in a house playing Mahjong with each other, and they're all dirtbags. Uh,
Alright.
so kind of it is Mahjong, but there are each character has an attack move that builds up your MP, and then a special move that either does a bunch of damage, sometimes it flips tiles around and does weird fun things. Uh, and when like every character has a, the 12 HP to start around
Okay.
to start a game. Once you run out, you lose a turn. And then you regain all your HP after you lose that turn. So sometimes the strategy is just like, oh, using my abilities instead of doing certain things uh, to take away a turn from one of the other characters. Like, I genuinely wish this was also like a fully multiplayer experience. But also being able to do that with other people would take Mahjong, a game that is already incredibly painful, uh, and make it the most painful thing in existence. Uh, but it is fun just having this house full of just absolute dirtbags, hilarious writing, uh, go through a story that is being told through them playing mahjong with each other.
Yeah, that's an interesting gimmick.
And like, I understand why it's single player only, because they have a story they want to tell. Uh, but B, also, like, you could not balance this kind of thing at all. Like, some of the special abilities the characters have are just so stupid overpowered. And some of them just like suck for the character, like could be good or just absolutely suck. Like, one of them is just like, oh, you give somebody one of your tiles, and it's like, oh, I used that and I gave them the winning tile.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. It's like, oops. Uh, but no, it's I the game has like a very underground style look to it. Like, everything is hand drawn. All the character text is like like has a font that just looks like really sloppy, shitty, like my handwriting. And then yeah, like they took a they made a mahjong visual novel that's very, very fun
Sure.
and has been well worth my time. And I'm like, I would definitely recommend it. Like, especially it's cheap. You know, it's not an expensive game. It's the it's made by trans people. All the characters are trans. It's just really fun.
Good to know. Do you
Makes
want to
me
talk?
happy.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about your last thing there?
Yeah, yeah. I have also been playing Demonschool. I just got started on. I've played through 2 weeks of it now. I'm not sure how many there are total, but boy, this is delightful. Who would have thought that combining Persona 2 with Into the Breach would make what might be one of my favorite games in a while? Like, I can't wait to get more characters to see what kind of fucked up, weird combinations of demon destroying I can come up with. But God, this game's fun, and the writing is incredibly fun. The characters are great. The calendar system isn't like terrible. Uh, you can just do everything, and it says exactly where everything is on your map screen, so you don't have to worry about going, oh, am I going to hang out with this character today and that character tomorrow, or fight some stuff, or you can just do everything. And some of the side options have some of the most like wild and challenging boss puzzles I've had so far, which has been really cool. Uh, like, I really like the way the battle system works with, hey, you make your move, you see what's going to happen from the move. You move all your other characters and whatnot. You plan. You're able to plan out the best possible turn you can come up with every turn, and then you hit the action button to set everything off. So you don't So you know pretty much what's going to happen outside of you don't know the enemy's moves you know per certain, but you can see how the enemies are going to move by looking at them, and you see like, oh, this guy moves 2 steps and then attacks an area of 3 squares in front of it, or stuff like that. So it's a fun it's that fun Into the Breach style like combat where you're just trying to set up the best possible turn you can. And oh, this one, I think I could do better. I'm going to rewind 3 steps and change these things. Yeah. And God, the combat system is so rewarding when, like, the first time around, like, when I first started, I was struggling to get 3 stars, like A grade. I was struggling to meet the kill X amount of demons within X amount of turns challenges that they give you. And but then after like the first like few fights, I started figuring out how the characters work together and how the different combo attacks are triggered and things like that. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I only have 2 turns to kill 20 demons. All right, that's easy.
Mop them up.
it it feels so good. And then I got to the first boss fight and I was like, oh, this is completely different, because the boss fight, like, it just took 1 damage from every hit no matter who was hitting it. And you only had 5 turns to kill it, so you had to hit it at least 3 times a turn, or I think it was like at least 4 times a turn to kill it within the 5 turn limit that it gave you to get an A. Uh, and the entire thing with it is it teleports around the map and attacks every square under it and around it, and it's spawning other demons that you have to ignore. You kind of have to ignore unless they're in a good combo position, because a lot of characters, the main characters and one of my other characters, have abilities where if you hit an enemy, they move 1 square
Mhm.
or 2 squares and damage everything else that they hit. Uh, and God, it just feels so good to get that battle system down to where you're just like sandwiching enemies. And oh, if I move this character, she jumps through every character in the line and pushes them back 1 square. And if I have one of my other characters behind where she moves, she pushes them all back into them, so they all end up dying. And like the cool limitation of every character just has 3 hit points. Every monster has 1 to 5 that I've run across so far, except for the boss, which I think had 12. But like, it's really fun figuring out like, oh, if I use my healer on a character with full HP, it makes them do 1 extra. It powers up their attack. So all of a sudden, with the right combo, I can kill one of those 5 HP monsters in like 1 move. God, it feels so good. It feels so good. Oh,
Good.
what a what a well-made game.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, it's been a good fucking week for video games. Like, for
Absolutely.
indie games, it's been real nice. It's been real nice.
Yep. Nicholas, do you want to wrap your stuff up?
Nah.
No?
The
Okay.
last one I have is something I'd rather. I don't know, or something to rather like formulate my thoughts on more deeply ahead of time.
Okay.
I'm used to us just picking one game off our list and talking about it
All right.
each time, but there's not really a whole lot to talk about this time.
Then for my last thing, I will talk about a Picross game that I got into recently. I ended up grabbing some demos for some of those Jupiter Picross games on the eShop this past week, because they had a sale going on, and then they also just released an SNK and a Capcom game for their Picross stuff, which is cool. But the one that I downloaded that I was not expecting to love as much as I did, um, was a Picross game that stars a Hololive girl that I'd never heard of before. Her name is Juufuutei Raden. Raden, maybe. I'm not even sure how to pronounce her name. Um, the game is called Juufuutei Raden's Guide for Pixel Museum. And the general conceit of the game is that she is apparently a real big art head. Like, she loves just art in general. Like I've learned a little bit about this lady from playing this game. That she's apparently like really into Rakugo and traditional Japanese art and all that, but also just art in general. Um, and the whole game is you doing Picross puzzles to reveal art of different varieties. Like, all the ones that I've done so far have been like Western stuff. So, like I did one that was the Mona Lisa, did one that was like one of stuff that Raphael did. I think I did one that was like one of Monet's, like that kind of stuff. Like, very, common high art sort of stuff, portraits, etc., etc. I think eventually you do some sculptures and stuff. Like, there's sections for like Japanese art as well. Um, and the whole gist of it is that once you finish it, uh, Juufuutei Raiden just talks to you about the piece of art, and she goes really in depth about it, and it's really cool. Like, it's just cute to be like, oh hey, here, I'm gonna talk about the composition of this piece of art, of how the history of the techniques used, the history of the creator, and she's not giving you like a 5-paragraph essay or whatever, but she gives you really interesting insight, and I think it's really cute. It's, if you like Picross and you like art, it's cute. I would recommend it. You don't have to know anything about this girl. She's just there to talk about paintings and etc. There is, like, the thing with Jupiter is, they have their regular Picross puzzles, and then they'll usually have like other like sections. The one thing that they have is a section where they have those like puzzles where it'll be like 20 separate small puzzles that go together to make one big picture. They have that, but it's like all stuff relating to her. So I genuinely think just someone at Jupiter was just like a big fan of hers. That just must be what it is, But it's cute, and I mean, it seems like she at least helped write her own stuff. So it's cool. I would recommend it. Yeah, Juufuutei Raiden's Guide for Pixel Museum. It's on Steam as well as Switch 1 and 2.
I might have to check that out because I do like Picross games, so.
Yeah, as do I, Like, it's cute, It's a fun time. I don't think that one was on sale, but I'm sure it will be eventually. But that does it for what we've been playing. We did the news, we did what we've been playing. Let me check to make sure. Yeah, I don't think we have any questions. Let me check the email real quick. If anyone in the chat has a question or two before we wrap up, feel free. And nothing in the emails. I'll just go ahead and do the wrap up, and then if we got any questions by the time I'm done with that, we'll answer them. And if not, we'll get out of here. But thank you everybody for listening. Obviously you can support us by going to our website, gamesline.net. And if you like to follow video game websites on social media, we have our Blue Sky, which is also gamesline.net. We have our Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com. You can follow us on YouTube, where our VODs of this podcast and any other streams that we do, etc., etc., will be up. That is youtube.com/@signthegamesline. And if you are watching now, you're already on the page, but if you're not, go to twitch.tv/GameslineTV at just about 6 p.m. EST. We try to, hit that time. Sometimes we got to set up, you know how it is. That'll be twitch.tv/GameslineTV every Sunday, 6 p.m. EST, just about. That's when we stream. And if you want to support us, it's patreon.com/Gamesline. $3 a month will give you early access to anything that we release a whole week early. And our Discord server is thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser, it'll bring you straight there. Come hang out with us. Chat with us. Yell at us. Give us compliments.
Scream.
Ah! And thank you to Melt Channel Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And on the 5th is when I would recommend you purchase their music if you're so inclined, because that'll be Bandcamp Friday. You get the full cut. That is when I recommend to do it always. Lorelai, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitch at Judgment Scythe.
And how about yourself, Nikolas?
You can find me on Blue Sky at sursicactus.bsky.social.
You can find John on Blue Sky as well, john.gamesline.net. And that does it.
Find John at his house.
You can. Here's my ad. No, I'm not telling you. Not yet, anyway. Let's see how it goes. But that'll do it. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And we will be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline Podcast. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.